Hey everybody, this is Tektosa Teresa, and you have updated your Zoom account, and now we want to talk to you about some settings that you might want to adjust before meeting with your kids. Okay, so I am on the ClassLink dashboard. If you don't know how to get here, the website is launchpad.classlink.com/HLPUSD, and I highly suggest bookmarking this page because you will be going here very often. So let's go ahead and go into Zoom down here, and we're going to wait patiently for it to sign you on. Now we're going to talk about a few features, not everything because we don't have time for that, but we're going to start here with profile. And something we didn't have last year is the ability to have a personal link. So this is not required, it's just something very useful. So I'm going to show you. So I made a personal link right here, and what that does is if I want to meet with my colleagues or anything like that, it's easier for me to remember this link rather than this really long one right here. But it is not necessary, it's just there for convenience, okay? But for us working with our kids, if you are using the same link every time the way we taught you last year, again, this is where you get that link. If you don't remember, this is where you get it. So when you copy it, don't forget just to copy till the number, because some of us tend to copy one more over, and look, it adds a little space and then it'll cause an error for us later. But anyways, you can always take that space out later. Okay, and I know some of the high school teachers like to actually schedule meetings and use those links, so that's also fine. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Meetings right here. Okay, so if you are joining your meeting with your kids, if you use that link that they use the same one every single time, then don't forget, you come onto your Zoom, you go to meetings, you go to personal meeting room, and then you start meeting, and that's where you meet your kids, because you're actually using your personal meeting room, which is the same link every single time. And for those teachers who are using your scheduled meetings, then you will just go through your scheduled meetings. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move on. Recordings. Now here's an amazing feature you don't want to miss out on. Cloud recordings. So now when you record your Zoom meeting, it actually records to the cloud. So you just have to take your link and you could post it anywhere that you want your kids or your families to have access to, so they could see what you have recorded. Before, we would only have local recordings, and I would have to download that to my computer and then upload it somewhere for everyone to access. But now through cloud recordings, again, you just need to take your link and send it or post it wherever you need for them to get access to the recording. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to settings, which is our big portion right here. And I won't go over everything because it will just take forever, but let's just go over a few. Okay, so waiting room is actually already turned on, and I suggest leaving that on. So once you start your meeting, as people and students start to come in, they just wait in your waiting room and you allow them to come in. This is the same thing as last year. Okay, don't worry about passcode, that is turned on, but it is embedded in their actual link, so don't worry about that. Down here, host video. When you sign on to your actual meeting, your video is automatically off. But I turned this on because I know I'm going to have it on anyways. So as soon as I log on now into my meeting that I start, I'm just going to have the video on already. You could always turn it off from the meeting. Okay, participants video, this was also off in the default. I turned it on because when students or other teachers come join the meeting, I want their video to be on right away, so that I don't have to remind them to turn it on. Okay, don't worry about the audio. This is another important one. Mute participants upon entry. In the default, this is off. I turned this on because when people come join my meeting, I want them to be muted, because in case they join in the middle, I don't want to hear what's going on in the background and possibly distracting me and whoever's in my meeting. This is an important one as well. Chat. So we allow the users to chat on the side, so that is turned on right now. But the private chat means that they could chat with one another without you knowing. And I turned that off because I don't want students chatting on the side with one another while I'm doing my lesson. But you can keep that on if you want. It's entirely up to you. Sound notification when someone joins or leaves. I have that turned off because it distracts me. And as people come in, I have to allow them to come in anyway, so I know that they're coming. But the sound distracts me while I'm teaching, so you could leave that off or you could turn that on. Some people like to hear when people are coming and when they're going, so that's up to you as well. File transfer. This is an important one. So in your chat, your participants can actually share files with everyone else in the meeting. That's a great feature, and I like to keep that on. But again, it's a management issue. So if you feel like you don't trust your kids yet to have this feature and they might share something that's not as appropriate, then you could turn that off so that they can't share those files. Okay? This one is one that's really important. It's called co-host, and it is off. I suggest turning it on so that you have the ability to share hosting rights with someone else. So if you have another teacher, another admin in your meeting, you might want to share the co-host rights with them so that they could help you navigate through your meeting. And we use that a lot in our team. This one, polling, this is amazing. So you can actually add a poll in your meeting control. So you can have a poll during your meeting, and I suggest for sure turning that one on. All right, so this one, show Zoom windows during screen share. This one's a little bit important. In the beginning, you're going to be showing your students how to navigate through Zoom. Right now, when you screen share with them, it doesn't show them your Zoom windows. It actually just shows them your actual screen. So if you want them to see your Zoom windows, so maybe you could show them how to navigate through the different buttons, you might want to turn this on. I don't like it on because I rarely use that, but if I was doing a training and I needed to show people those icons and those shortcuts and things like that, then I would turn this on, okay? Screen sharing. This is a very useful feature right here. So it is defaulted to host only, so only the host can actually share their screen. While you're in your call, you can actually change the setting from the bottom very easily, but I tend to forget to do that, and then I ask someone to share and they're saying it doesn't work, and that happens a lot. So I'm just going to turn it on so that all participants can share their screen when I want them to, but that's entirely up to you. That's another management piece, okay? So who can start sharing when someone else is sharing? So who can share while someone is already on the screen? So a good thing is probably just having the host that can interrupt someone while they're screen sharing and share their own screen. If you have all participants, then all the kids can screen share over one another, and I don't suggest that, but again, that's up to you, okay? Annotations, allow saving of shared screens with annotations, and I want everyone to be able to annotate, so I'm not going to check this one, not just the user, okay? Allow saving of whiteboard content. I am not going to autosave because I'm probably going to be using the whiteboard really often and I don't want it to save every single time, but you might, because you want to be able to share that with your students, so you could check that if you like, okay? Remote control is on, so if you do need to control a student's screen, it's there for you. Right here, meeting reactions, this one's kind of fun. It's just a little emoji feature on the bottom, which is on, so they can react without actually speaking. They could give you a thumbs up and things like that. This one's important. Allow removed participants to rejoin. This is off, meaning if you have taken someone out of your meeting, then they cannot come back. So that's a safety feature, but if you've taken them out maybe accidentally, and that happens pretty often, then you might want to turn this on, which means that they're allowed to come back, but they can't come in automatically. You're still going to let them in, but again, that's up to you. That's a preference. Allow participants to rename themselves. For me, I would like them to not rename themselves so that I could actually see their account as they're coming in, and maybe if I'm afraid they might use names that I don't want them to use. But I talked to another teacher who said, you know what, sometimes they get on and sometimes they're using an account of a brother or sister on accident, or a mom or a dad, and I just want them to be able to change their name so I know who they are. And that's actually a really great point. So I'm going to leave that on, so that's up to you. Hide participant profile pictures in a meeting. I like that off because when they turn off the video, I'd like to be able to see their profile picture. This one is really important, breakout room. So we want this on for sure so that you have the ability to use a breakout room. And right here, check this off because it allows you to assign participants to actual rooms before you actually start the meeting. So that's really useful. Right here, virtual background, that is on because I want students to be able to use the virtual background, especially maybe if they don't want to show what's in their background, and that happens to us too, right? So I like that to be on. This one, allow use of videos for virtual backgrounds. If that gets distracting, you might want to turn that off. That's up to you. All right, so I think that is all for settings, and there's a lot more in there. So if you have any questions, please let us know, and we are here to help. I wanted to share one more thing because I saw a lot of teachers actually setting up whiteboards behind them that they want to teach from when they're in with their students. And there's something that you need to change to make sure that they can actually read what you're writing on your whiteboard. So when I click on the app, I go right up here to settings, and then I go to video. And I didn't know my face would be showing. But right here where it says mirror my video, if I write anything right now on a whiteboard or a piece of paper, it's going to show up backwards to the students, and I don't want that. So if I uncheck that, it flips it over so that they can actually read the words properly. So just so you know, that's a feature that you might want to adjust there. That is all. Let us know if you have any questions.